Hello, guys. Welcome to today's episode. And today we are going to talk about a very important issue that every Indian wants to know about. It's Pakistan. As an Indian, when we are done talking about India, we talk about Pakistan. Even sometimes when we are not done talking about India, we still talk about Pakistan. But today I have a very important reason to talk about it. You guys already must have heard in the news that Pakistan's economy is doing really bad for a couple of years now, but let me tell you, it was always doing bad. Especially after the pandemic and the recent flash floods that hit Pakistan, its economy is doing even poorer because the crops are destroyed and now it has to import even food. And now the food items are sky high right now in Pakistan. You can't even buy onion, they are eating like giants over there. Before we go into what's happening right now, let me give you some background. Right after its independence, Pakistan's army took control of the country, and although it has government which changes too frequently, the army takes control of everything. And in 1951, Pakistan's Constituent Assembly was dissolved, saying that it was not legal. So ever since this 1951 incident, the governments in Pakistan has been less and less accountable, which has led to rise in corruption. Corruption is a very big problem in Pakistan. It's bigger than in India, and not having a judiciary and a constitution to which you are accountable to, it's a problem even for the countries that are not democratic. So here's the thing. Even before the pandemic, Pakistan's economy was doing poorly. The price hike was at its peak, and then came the pandemic. The pandemic already increased all the prices, and then came the Russia war, and now the fuel prices are very high. The taxes beyond control. The flood destroyed the crops. So Pakistan is importing everything basically, and when you import a lot more than you can export, your foreign reserves go down drastically. And Pakistan was already under much debt. Why now Pakistan is in trouble? Because nobody is willing to loan money to Pakistan. It wouldn't be exactly correct if I say that nobody is lending money to Pakistan, because UAE surely did. It loaned Pakistan $3 billion, but that money is only sufficient to run Pakistan for just a few weeks, which is why Pakistani Prime Minister is touring across the world asking IMF for more money. National Monetary Fund is asking for a guarantee in return that Pakistan will take drastic measures to cut its corruption. After everybody said no to Pakistan, Pakistan is looking towards its kind, friendly neighbor, India, which is why Shahbaz Sharif said that India and Pakistan should mend its differences, talk, and even start its import and export, bilateral exchange of trade, which, by the way, Pakistan itself cancelled in 2019 when Imran Khan was Prime Minister. So, I mean, it's kind of obvious that if Pakistan is asking to mend relationships at this point, it's obviously for its own benefit, and especially it's not talking about Kashmir. So, India is like, dude, how do we resolve our tension without talking about Kashmir and transboundary terrorism? But let me tell you this, India is not saying no to all kind of help. India is saying that you give us a list, what are the things you need. You want flood relief, we'll give you that. India actually has been helping Pakistan through natural calamities, crisis. Even Prime Minister Modi tweeted about it. Big loan that's way too big for India right now, because remember Sri Lankan crisis? India already has given loan to Sri Lanka. There is no guarantee that Sri Lanka will ever be able to pay it back. So India is already in deficit. It is very difficult for India to trust Pakistan at this point. It is actually very difficult for any country to trust Pakistan at this point, given Pakistan's history of poor credit. But Pakistan's Prime Minister is desperate. There are protest demonstrations in Pakistan. The foreign reserves are down. The foreign reserve is so down that Pakistan is only left with around 4 billion US dollars of foreign exchange. And if you want to compare or know how bad it is, so currently India has a foreign reserve of $500 billion. And if you compare it with China, which has the highest foreign exchange reserve of all times, so it has around 3 trillion US dollars, which is great. Good for China. Pakistan's foreign reserve is so less that its former Prime Minister Imran Khan said in an interview recently that Pakistan could only survive 2 months more with this kind of reserve. And if Pakistan doesn't get any help or any financial loan from anyone else, it's probably going to be bankrupt in, let's say, within 60 days. It's scary. It's scary for Pakistan, and it should be scary for its neighbors as well, including India. In a few moments, I will explain why. But Pakistan's troubles aren't ending here. I told you that there are massive protest demonstrations going on across Pakistan against price hike, and the measures taken by the Pakistan government to cut its energy cost are so drastic that major shops, malls, anything which is a public utility and requires energy to function closes within 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Many businesses in Pakistan have even defied this law, and they have said that they will not comply with it because on top of price hike they cannot suffer more loss, which is also logical. Now price hike and energy prices are going up everywhere in the world. But if you really need to know why I'm specifically emphasizing on Pakistan, literally street fights going on for rice, for wheat, almost everything. Which is why Pakistanis are upset and they are demonstrating in huge numbers. Anyway, coming back to the question of India and Pakistan, Pakistan is requesting India to do something about it, to help it out, and India wants to help in certain way, but not exactly by lending it money. And secondly, there are too many issues to resolve before India just goes and casually gives away a huge chunk of money to Pakistan. And these issues include Kashmir and trans-border terrorism, which India is trying to resolve with Pakistan for years, but Pakistan has showed no interest, and all of a sudden Pakistan is wanting all these things from India without talking about these problems first. India is not a bad neighbor, guys. India has always been a good neighbor to Nepal, to Bangladesh, to Sri Lanka, to Myanmar, to even Pakistan. It has helped Pakistan so many times throughout the years, even during the pandemic. It was Pakistan actually who decided not to join PM's call of SAARC nations during the first lockdown. India even said that Pakistan is not trying to resolve bilateral issues, it's just trying to win a Nobel Peace Prize, which might be true, but the situation is not white or black. Pakistan really needs money, it's desperate, and that's why it's asking for money, and India is its closest neighbor in terms of geography, obviously. So India can help Pakistan because it has fourth largest foreign exchange reserve in the world, and India is also keeping its reservations for the right reason. But what if India doesn't help Pakistan, or no other organization or country helps Pakistan out throughout this situation? What if Pakistan goes bankrupt in 2 months? What if there's no government left to govern Pakistan? If Pakistan goes down, it's gonna be a big problem for India, because remember, Pakistan's western border is Afghanistan, which is ruled by Taliban. There are already multiple reports saying that Taliban is trying to influence or take control of Pakistan's western borders, joining hands with regional terrorist organizations, and India doesn't want Taliban's influence all over Pakistan because it's very easy to talk with a government versus to talk with a terrorist organization, and India doesn't need any more trans-border terrorism that is already have had in the past. What is the stake here? It's the prospect of Pakistan going down and being governed by Taliban, or just being left in chaos. Then it won't be easy for India to control the situation. India is trying for years to talk with a legal government in Pakistan, and it's not working already. how do you negotiate with a terrorist organization? And Taliban doesn't even like India. And guess if Taliban finds out about the Akhand Bharat fantasy that some Indians have, what will it do? So the big question for India is to help Pakistan or just leave it to deal with its own mess. India has to help Pakistan if nobody else does, because India doesn't have a choice here. To argue my point, I will give you two theories. There's one theory in international relations called a neighborhood effect. As the name suggests, it obviously means that whatever is happening in your neighborhood will affect your life. Now, the other theory that I was talking about, it was mentioned in Kautilya's Arthasastra, and it's called the Mandal theory, where Kautilya depicts the relationship of a country with its surrounding or neighbors. For example, your immediate neighbor will always have a conflictual relationship with your immediate neighbor, but your neighbor's neighbor could be your friend. In India's case, this has been true also, because with Pakistan, we have said tension, conflictual relationship, but with Afghanistan, we have shared friendly relations, whether it's cultural exchange or political cooperation, economic cooperation. Essentially, what it means that you'll always have bad relations with your neighbors, you'll always have conflict with your neighbors, but it is still very important that your neighborhood is stable and it has a legit government. You can imagine if Pakistan goes down and if there's no government, no party to take charge, no leadership, then eventually Taliban will catch up with that, and that is a very scary prospect, which is why India cannot take any risk at all, leaving Pakistan into chaos. So we have to trust Kautilya on this, and we have to secure our neighborhood, which is why a few $1 billion won't harm India very much. Even if Pakistan cannot return it, it will be a little dent on our foreign reserve. And who knows, after this help, maybe the Pakistani population will force Pakistani government to be nice with India, to play good guy. I'm just kidding. Anyway, the point is India has to help Pakistan if Pakistan doesn't get help from anywhere else, because we will suffer the most if Pakistan goes down within 60 days as predicted. Pakistan actually is running paycheck to paycheck. I read some reports that say that Pakistan only has reserves to run for 3 more weeks, and then it will run out of foreign reserves to import food items even. I never thought I'd be saying this, but it seems like only Modi ji can save Pakistan right now. And by the way, recently there was this video of Modi ji going viral in Pakistan in which she's saying that we finished Pakistan. So there is this narrative in Pakistan going on that India destroyed Pakistan, and it's not true. Indians do not need to take pride in this. We have to give credit to Pakistanis for this. They did this to themselves.